Hello and welcome to DesertTrippin. Today we have a very short but fun little trip planned. We are on our way back to California from Las Vegas. Had a quick fun trip with Joey, and so we are now traveling through the desert, 100 plus degree weather. We were expecting it to be even hotter, and we were going to do a little investigation on what extreme heat was like in the desert. But when we got to Baker, to the giant thermometer, it was only 102. So I think we decided to bail on that concept and just kind of recoup the day by doing a cool desert art exploration. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be coming up on the Liberty Sculpture Park soon. We're under some clouds now, so that's what's cooling things down. But if those clouds burn off, it could start spiking up again. Liberty Sculpture Park, here we come. Now we're coming down back road into Yermo. If somebody wanted to be really remote and private, this place would be a good option. I mean, it seems like it's had better days, for sure. This burger den here, this was the original Del Taco. It appears to be closed today. It said closed. But closed on a Sunday. There's an interesting little liquor store here. That green truck was there last time too. And then there's a thrift store that's seen better days. It looks kind of like it was burned down. Some little cool touches in this town, but it needs some TLC. Probably not a town I could get Mrs. DesertTrippin to move to. I believe if we go up this road here, Eddie World should be up just past those palm trees on the right, and then to the left is a little dirt path we can take into the Liberty Sculpture Park. But on second thought, I remember you have to kind of off-road. There's some squishy sand in there, so I might go around and make a U-turn here and go into the sculpture park the correct way. Excuse me. There's that giant sundae. I don't know how I feel about that sundae. Seems like you could build a giant anything out here and it would get people to look at it. Eddie's idea was a sundae. Now, a lot of cars all of a sudden here. We go into here. Trying to remember if this is the road. this gate here? They put a gate up around the Liberty Sculpture Park. I guess you can only go in from one angle now. Huh. Well, there's holes in the gate, so I don't want to do that. We'll go around to the correct entranceway. Maybe we can get there through here. So you learn something new. See, yeah, here's all these new sculptures. There's like a guy with pins in his head, and there's a wave or something. Okay, we can either go back. What's this? Okay, so we're in this way. All right. Sculpture number 1. Bunch of Chinese guys. I don't know what it's about, but it's a sculpture. And here's one. I think there's an explanation of who this chained person is here. Okay. Liberty Sculpture Park. Okay, this up here is the one that kind of gave birth to this whole place. And that's 64. That was, I believe, not the year 64, but it was 6/4, like June 4th, something really bad happened in China. And here's the Tiananmen Square sculpture. Let me get out here. So we no sooner stepped out of the car than the battery overheating light came on the iPhone and it shut down. So I walked around and I took a bunch of cool stills. I got the new sculptures. I learned a little bit of the backstory of some of them. But I drove back here to the beginning, and here's the 6/4. So 6/4, I thought something happened in the year 1964, but it's actually June 4th, 1989. So this is a sculpture that's commemorating all the people who were massacred in Tiananmen Square, who were standing up for freedom and liberty. You can see there's a miniature Tiananmen Square building here, which was the backdrop of the massacre. I think all the people had assembled in that square, and then these tanks rolled in, and everybody remembers that iconic image of the guy with his briefcase from work who just stopped and stood in front of the tank, and they had a showdown. And I don't know if the guy was arrested, but he did stop the tank, and for that he was a hero. Here's an armored personnel carrier. I think this was just an extra tank that the artist got a hold of because he was trying to get a real tank for the display, and he was having trouble getting it shipped here. Look how dramatic the sky is. It's in the 100s. I don't know exactly how hot, but hopefully my battery doesn't die again. I'm going to try to go over and look at some of the newer sculptures. So we'll get in the car, so we'll be a little closer. This is the, I think, Ode to Freedom. It's a crazy horse. I guess the Chinese people really respected America's flight to freedom. Yeah, it says the origin of freedom, number 1, Chief Crazy Horse, unveiled December 11th, 2017. Here we have the back view of the Liberty Sculpture Park sign. I'm going to zip over here. This is a very interesting one. Well, let's go look at this guy here. Let's go look at this guy, because we might not come back and see him. And the battery is getting cooled down in here in the car a little bit. We'll find out what's going on with this guy. And then we'll, looks like a prison. Okay, so this is a statue of the chained woman. Statue of the chained woman here. And I guess for many years the Communist Party had a rule that people could only have one child per couple. And I think this woman had 8 children, and they imprisoned her, and they put a chain around her neck even to make an example out of her. And her husband was 50 years old. That's all I know. There's more on that. You could probably look it up. The statue of the chained woman. It's pretty emotional if you look at the expression there. She looks pretty sad. The statue of the chained woman, talking about China's control of how many kids you can have. Okay, we'll go look at those other ones now. Okay, we have Swimming for Freedom coming soon. Whistleblower, a pretty minimal one. And this one here is called CCP virus number 1. And I guess they made a virus, a statue talking about how the Wuhan virus took over the world and came from Russia or China. So I guess the Chinese Communist Party didn't like this one, so they burned it down, but the guys built a second one. And now this is CCP virus 2. And it depicts, I guess, an Asian face with a skeleton on the side and kind of a COVID germ on the head that looks pretty much like Hellraiser, the movie, the horror movie. So these back here are like the newer ones. That's kind of a new one too. It looks like another Chinese people fighting for freedom thing. Well, all right. So you got to see me sweat after all. I've been running around here taking stills. Tried to get some video footage, but camera would run for a few minutes and then overheat, and then I'd have to cool it down. So I think we kind of touched on all of the different sculptures here. There's quite a few new ones from the last time. So I hope you enjoyed this little exploration. It's just down and dirty. Wanted to show you the new additions at the Liberty Sculpture Park. And that being said, you can always come and visit yourself, hopefully when it's not 100+ degrees. And if you don't want to make the drive, you can always Google Liberty Sculpture Park and find more than enough information to keep you busy. You can learn about the Chinese nationals and the Hong Kong fight, and I guess they just want you to know that the Chinese Communist Party, they're not always the nicest people, I guess, in these people's opinions. So with that being said, we're going to exit this place and hit the road. And I thank you for coming along. We had a nice bump in subscribers last month. If you haven't seen the Charman video, check that out. I've got a new one in the works that I've been working on for about 3 weeks. Hopefully I'll be releasing that shortly. And what else? Oh, there's a secret trip coming up, a very ambitious project later in the summer when it gets a little cooler. Mrs. DesertTrippin and I are going to go on a little ghost hunting tour, and we're going to fill you in more on that as more details evolve. Okay, without further ado, this is Joe Bowie, DesertTrippin, over and out in 3, 2, 1!